All right, so this customer's sp125 Suzuki bike here. Got to do back brakes on it, and I'm looking at it, and obviously there's a few things going on with this bike that's not stock. So I get to looking, and the way that this brake is set up is completely wrong. So first and foremost, that rod that runs all the way up, if we went out of focus, that all that's bent there runs all the way up to there, is just a piece of all thread that someone's bent into place. Second and foremost, the lever rod here that goes to the actual brake assembly inside, so when you hit the brake it pulls it and it activates the brakes, is going to the top, making this bar run over the swing arm, which is not correct. It's supposed to be going down, running up with this bar here under the swing arm. Because when if it's over the swing arm and you're riding, what's going to happen whenever you compress the suspension in the rear and the swing arm? It's just going to bend all that up. So that's not correct, and that has to be redone. As well as when you look at it and get up closer upon further inspection, this is completely effed and bent. The piece itself is separated, and they just ran some bolt through and drilled a hole and ran the all thread through it with no nut on the back side or anything like that. Just sitting there. So that's definitely not safe, nor is it the way this is supposed to be. So we're definitely gonna have to fix that and make this the way it's supposed to be. That just can't happen. That just is not practical and will not work. And upon further inspection, checking the air filter to see how it looks, you can tell that is definitely not the factory air filter, nor an name brand air filter by any means. Someone literally just made one, which is cool. I mean, it works to an extent. So just going through, finding all the things that, you know, definitely are not the way they were supposed to be. All right, so as you can see, we've got the petcock and everything out of this here gas tank for the customer's sp125. And we're going through cleaning everything out, cleaning everything up, getting as much rust and stuff out of the tank as possible, and try to keep it from clogging any fuel filters of the carburetor. Now all I did to do this was I took a 50-50 baking soda, vinegar, and about 10% water actually, mixed it all together, put it in the tank, let it sit overnight, and then the next day throw a little bit of ball bearings and a little bit of bolts, whatever you have in there. Shake it up nice and good to break the rust free, and then wash it out a couple times with some injector cleaner, as well as some B12 Chem Tool. After that, all that's flushed out, now we're doing the part we are now, going through, cleaning the petcock, putting it back together, putting it back on the bike. All right, we got the tank back reinstalled after cleanup, the petcock reinstalled. I went over and cleaned up the swing arm and a few little things, so when I do the back brakes, it's not so messy. As well as for the engine and the carburetor. So next is wait for the new carburetor to install that and figure out how we're gonna do these back brakes. What is up, guys? Just got the rear brakes replaced on the 125 from my latest customer. Remember in the last video I showed you that it was, needless to say, definitely incorrect. Well, I took with what we had and went through and completely redone it. So here's what we got. All right, so as you remember before, this all thread cable or line, whatever, piece of metal, ran over the top of the swing arm to the bracket that was pointed straight up. Completely incorrect. So unfortunately I didn't have a better way a bolt or a dial to put in there to adjust that to make it look better, so we retain the original bolt. I flipped this around correctly like it's supposed to be, installed the new brake pads in there, and now everything works as it's supposed to. The brakes work well. It's ran underneath it like factory, nice and clean. Here's the old shoes here. See, they're pretty worn out. Pretty much gone. Had a little bit of life, but they're pretty worn out and old, so I had to put some brand new ones in there. What brand was it? EBC? Yeah, EBC brakes. So I got those to put in there, the chain adjusted and tensioned properly. So it just looks so much better, just that the cable, man, I keep calling it a cable. I don't know why. The all thread now is ran properly. And it's not even supposed to be that. It's supposed to be a bar, you know, but we're working with what we got here. So we're gonna at least make it halfway decent, halfway safe and proper. As you can see, I cut the nasty bend that was off of there as well, just to do it more correct, and just put a small nut that you can adjust to adjust the brakes whenever they start getting wore down more. Just what you need. Here's the section. It's cut off, completely bent where you couldn't get the nut off. So much better. I'm gonna see if they would like me to take off this rigged brake that they just bolted onto the normal brake. I'm not sure if the customer that sent it to me did this or if this was a previous owner's doing, but I'm gonna see if they would like that fixed, as well as we need to grind down and put a Kickstarter on here. Get the lights wired in as well would be cool. But this is all on what the customer would like to do, of course. So as you've seen today, we got that sp125 pretty good going to being a safer, more reliable bike. So tomorrow, hopefully we can get a hold of the customer and see if they've got the correct carburetor for it, or if they were wanting to get a rebuild kit for it, so we can get it going again and get it running. See if we can't get a Kickstarter mounted onto it as well. And hopefully within the next day or two we can get a video of this thing running for the first time. See how she does.